Feeling angry is a normal part of being a human being, but it also can be a dangerous emotion and has the potential to wreck your relationships and your life. So here are the most common lies about anger. Lie number 1. When I feel angry, I just have to let it all out. Not true. Too much damage has been done to people we love by blurting out angry feelings in the moment of their greatest intensity. Now, doing this might provide some sort of relief for you, but it's never beneficial to the hearer or the relationship. I liken it to vomiting. You do feel better getting it out, but vomit belongs in the toilet, not on another person. Proverbs tells us that reckless words pierce like a sword, and it warns us only a fool gives full vent to his anger. A better way to get some relief from your intense anger in the moment is to journal or pray your honest emotions before the Lord. In the process, you might find some perspective on them and what to do with them and how to express them constructively. Lie number 2. It's other people or provoking situations that make me angry. Not true. We all believe this lie at times. We say things like, well, you make me so mad, or if you wouldn't have done that, then I wouldn't have reacted that way. Now, it is true that difficult people or situations frustrate us, but they don't make us angry. They tempt us toward anger. What really happens when we encounter these kind of situations or people is that they expose us. Jesus tells us it's out of the overflow of your heart that your mouth speaks. And so what comes up and out of your mouth when you're angry exposes what's in your heart. And often our heart is filled with self-centered lies or desires. So start to listen to your own internal self-talk when you feel angry. For example, I can't believe this is happening to me. This isn't fair. Why me? I need to teach them a lesson. They can't get away with this. Instead of blaming others or the situation that you're in, you can start to understand where the real problem is that's causing your anger to escalate. Your own thought life. And then you can work to calm yourself down with different self-talk and God's word, instead of demanding that life always go your way or that everyone always do what you want to make you feel better. Lie number 3. I'm entitled to use my anger to get what I want, if what I want is a good thing. Now, anger does motivate us and helps us to speak up against wrong, as well as take action to fight injustice and evil in our world. And because it's such a powerful force, the Apostle Paul warns us not to sin in our anger. The truth is, though, most of the time what we want is permeated with self-centered desires. We want our way. We want to be right. We want to be first. We want to be catered to. We want our needs met. And we're angry because we're not getting what we want. James 4 asks us, what's the source of quarrels and conflicts among you? And he says, it comes because you're not getting what you want. Part of spiritual maturity is learning to accept you don't always get what you want, even if what you want is a good thing. And learning to live peaceably with other people involves realizing that what I want and what someone else might want are two very different things. And the Bible tells you not to merely look out for your own interests or what you want, but also the interests of other people. Anger is a powerful emotion, and it deceives us into using it to demand our own way. Line number 4. I've always had a bad temper. This is just the way I am. I can't change. Well, that's not true, because the good news of the gospel of Christ is that he not only redeems us, but he restores us. In other words, he wants to change you. If you want to get a handle on your sinful anger, anger's not the problem you must address or work on. Your temper is simply a symptom of what's going on in your heart. Now, if you gain self-control over your temper, that's a great thing. But the deeper problem that causes your anger is what you need to work on and change. Romans 8:5 says this, those who live according to the sinful nature have their mind set on what that nature desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their mind set on what the Spirit desires. So how you act and how you live flows from what's in your heart, what you desire, what you want the most. And God says he wants to rearrange those desires of your heart so that you no longer want your own way the most, but rather what you want is to please him and love others. When God changes your heart, it's not that you never feel angry, but you no longer want to use your anger as a weapon to demand your own way or prove your point or make sure everyone knows you're right or to hurt another person. You don't want to hold on to grudges. You don't want to nurse resentment or harbor bitterness in your heart. Instead, what you want to do is you want to forgive and you want to reconcile where possible. When Jesus changes your heart, instead of only wanting your way, you want to look out for the interests of others because you care about them. And therefore, you do hold your anger in check when you're not getting what you want, and you weigh that with what others might need or want. How? Because you've had a change of heart and you no longer see yourself as the most important person. You're no longer at the center of your life anymore. Jesus is. And becoming more and more like Christ is not just trying to do the right thing. It's wanting to do the right thing and then learning how to do it. James tells us to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For a person's anger does not produce the righteous life that God desires. Until next time, God bless.